Hi, my name is Danny Garrett with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, and I'm out here today on Lake Sawyer in South King County, which is a mixed species fishery that hosts excellent populations of both largemouth and smallmouth bass. I'm joined today by Clark Corper, who grew up about 5 miles away from here and has volunteered his time over the next couple days to teach us a little bit more about how to catch these fish during the springtime. Now it's mid-April, the water temps have just hit the mid-50s here in western Washington, and both species are starting to become more active. Now most fishing shows are going to focus on fish and tackle, but we're going to focus on how to present a lure, and we'll talk about some alternatives to the lures we're throwing. We're also going to key in on the habitat features that attract largemouth and smallmouth bass to these docks on these developed lakes. So pay close attention over the next couple days, and we sure hope you learn something.
So what I'm going to start off with today is a jerkbait. This jerkbait happens to be made by Vision 110. There's a lot of other baits you could pick out there, but I just have a lot of confidence in this bait. My color selection, I like to stick to really natural colors, the perch, trout, bluegill colors around these western Washington lakes. And how I want to retrieve this bait is I throw it out and I make as long casts as possible. I reel it down to my desired depth and I start off with one jerk. And after that, it's just a jerk, jerk, pause, jerk, 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 pause. Usually right now with the water temps around 50 to mid 50s, I give it maybe a 5-second pause, if even that. And then I vary my retrieves throughout the day and see what the fish want. All right, my second bait is a standard jig. I like ½ ounce around this time of year. My color selection is pretty basic again, browns, blacks, green pumpkins. My retrieve, I like to fish it around docks, wood, any kind of laydowns like that. It's really a do-nothing kind of bait. Everyone can catch fish on it. Sometimes you can catch them when it's sitting dead still. Other times I like to drag it or give it little hops in between and pauses, and shake it on slack line works pretty good too. Dude, that was so cool. I had him hit it. And I reeled it up and he came back and just crushed it right at the boat. Oh. Just got about maybe a 1 pound smallmouth right back here on this island. This island is really close to deep water and it gets shallow, so that's probably why he was there, but a solid fish nonetheless. So let's go see if we can get another one. It's a good fish. I can't tell if it's a largemouth or a smallmouth. Oh, he's not as good as I thought, but he's a largemouth. All right, this is a nice little 1.5, maybe 2 pound largemouth I just caught on a jerkbait. We caught it on this windblown bank right here. And yeah, it's a solid fish. Here's another good smallmouth. I don't know what that fish almost looked like it was making a bed. There's 2 of them actually. I got a fish on right now. Oh man, this is sketchy with 5 pound. The best thing to do in this situation is just keep even pressure on him and don't try to pull him too hard, especially with light line on a drop shot rod. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh man. Man, that is a good fish. Oh. God, that's a pig. God, that's a pig. Oh, dude. Oh. Man. All right, so I just caught this really nice smallmouth bass on this dock back here. I caught it on a drop shot rig. I was previously throwing the jerkbait when I was approaching the dock, but the wind died, so I picked up my drop shot because it's a better finesse bait, and he ate it. So let's put her on the scale and see how much she goes. All right, so this smallmouth goes about 5 pounds. This is a really, really nice fish for Western Washington, better yet, anywhere in the country. And yeah, I'm really pleased with this fish. It's a beautiful fish. Okay, it's very important to take this fish and revive him and make sure he's ready to go before you release him. Oh. All right, so I know we only talked about 2 baits today, a jerkbait and a jig, but the last fish, I caught it on a drop shot rig, which is a weight and a hook suspended above it with a little finesse worm, as you can see here. Basically, when you want to work this lure, you want to throw it out and do simple drags and then sit there and just shake it. And this worm will be horizontal when it's in the water, and it just drives fish crazy and goes nuts. So they really like it.
All right, welcome back. It's day 2. Now yesterday, you saw Clark talk a little bit more about how to present 3 different lure types. He started off talking about a jerkbait and a jig, but as you saw later in the day, he caught an absolutely gorgeous 5-pound smallmouth on this drop shot rig. This is a rig that we featured in our perch fishing video, incidentally. And it's a great finesse bait for bass. You notice he switched to it right as the wind died, because when you have wind and there's some break up to the surface, it's a good time to throw reaction baits. When it gets really still and calm like it is right now, you better dial it back and go to a finesse type approach. Now there's a lot of different things you can fish on the end of this hook, so don't get bogged down too much by your soft plastic choice, but pay more attention to how you're presenting this lure and the conditions under which you're presenting it. The other bait he talked about was a jig. I just want to mention the alternatives to this bait. There's a lot of different things you can drag along the bottom. You can drag an open face football head jig with a twin-tailed grub. You can drag any number of Texas rigged soft plastic baits, which is simply a sliding weight above a hook, and then you hook on your soft plastic. A lot of different baits that are going to look like a crawl swimming along the bottom. So a lot of options there. And of course, Clark absolutely loves the jerkbait this time of year. Other reaction baits that will be great alternatives to this are the rattle trap, the crankbait, other things that move quickly through the water. But the jerkbait is special because it stops right in front of their face when you're working it right in the mid-water column, and it stays in the strike zone for a while and gives them a chance to eat it. And that's why it can be really deadly early in the spring when the water temperature's still kind of cold and the fish are lethargic. Now I'm going to jump in the boat with Clark today, and we're going to go back to the same spots we fished yesterday, and we're going to key in now today on the habitat features that are common to all of these docks that attract smallmouth and largemouth bass during the springtime. There he is. Oh, I saw that.
I'll bring him over here.
Oh, nice fish. Oh, he's a largemouth. My mistake. A whole group of them. Nice fish. don't you hold that fish up?
Nice, dude. It's a good one.
How much do you think that fish weighs?
It's probably a good 3-pounder.
3-pounder?
Yeah. 2.5, 3.
Excellent. You know, we've had a really tough time getting them on today, getting them to bite because there's hardly any wind yet and the fish are really spooky. So we've been pretty much just throwing the finesse rig, and he finally got a largemouth to take that worm off the bottom. Beautiful fish.
Nice.
Okay, so we've fished a lot of different docks on Lake Sawyer over the past couple days, but I want to get you keyed in on some features that are common to all of these docks. One is most of them are in fairly shallow water, about 4 or 5 feet deep, and they have good rock underneath them. This is water that's going to warm up faster than the rest of the lake when you get nice sunny days like this, and they're going to be attracted to water that's even a degree or 2 warmer. Another thing is the size of the rock. Almost all these docks that we've fished have nice sized rock that are baseball, softball sized rock. These rocks laying on the bottom, there's going to be a lot of cracks and spaces between them that's going to create homes, refuge for crayfish and sculpin, favorite food items for smallmouth and largemouth bass. So any place with this size of rock is going to be really productive. Another thing is access to deep water. Right off, most of these docks where these big fish are, it's deep. They like to be a couple fin kicks away from deep water for security. So really you got a couple things to look for. You want some shallow water that's going to warm up quickly with some rock. You want the right size of rock that's going to be home for the food that bass eat, and you want some access to deep water nearby. You put all those things together and you got the right recipe for a great bass spot. Oh, we got a fish on. All right. On the jerkbait. We finally got one to hit a jerkbait today. It's been really slow for us because the wind hasn't been blowing much and the fish have not been biting the jerkbait like they did yesterday, but that one did. And you can tell they're not eating it either because the fish is hooked on the outside. And look at this. The hook is just barely there. Oh, how big do you think that one will go, Clark?
It's probably a 2-pounder.
2-pounder?
2-pounder.
He's really dark, huh?
Yeah, he is. Look at his eye right there. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Nonetheless, a solid fish.
Beautiful. I'm gonna make the same cast.
Fish.
Oh, there you go. Got a little smallmouth here on the jerkbait. Same spot as the larger one that Clark just caught. You want to just swing him?
It's not a big fish, but he's decent. The fight was fun.
Hey Clark, I want to thank you for the past couple days. I really appreciate your time. I hope you folks at home have learned a little bit more about bass fishing in the state of Washington. Remember, Lake Sawyer is just one fishery, and there's a lot of different lakes across the state that have excellent populations of both largemouth and smallmouth bass. So log on to our Fish Washington website and cast your search today. Thanks a lot for joining us, and have a great time fishing Washington.